Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Muzamil Liaqat Ali, and in this lecture, we will discuss iron, an essential trace element that plays a critical role in oxygen transport, energy production, and many enzymatic reactions. We will cover its sources, absorption, transport, storage, functions, and clinical significance in this pretty session, right? Let's start with the introduction or the importance of iron. Iron helps in the formation of very important structures and compounds in the body. These includes the hemoglobin, the oxygen carrying protein in RBCs or the red blood cells, the myoglobin, the oxygen storing protein in muscle tissues, the cytochromes, which are essential components of the electron transport chain for ATP production. And the last one is the catalase, which are the category of enzyme that break down the hydrogen peroxide. Without an adequate iron, these vital molecules cannot be synthesized, leading to impaired oxygen delivery and energy production. Now let's come to the sources of iron. Iron is absorbed from both, or can be obtained from both animal and plant sources. Animal sources are the best and include liver, meat, especially red meat, and egg yolk, while the plant sources include spinach and the other green leafy vegetables. Milk is very low in iron, which is why infants need iron supplementation or iron fortified formulas, right? An interesting point is that cooking in iron utensils increases the iron content of food, and some iron leaches into the food during cooking. As you can see on your screens, these are the sources of the iron. Now let's discuss the absorption of iron in detail. About 10% of the ingested iron is absorbed. This is a tightly regulated process because the body has no active mechanism for excreting excess iron. Absorption takes place primarily at the mid-jejunum, the middle section of the small intestine. Iron is the first converted to the ferrous form, Fe2, which is the form that can be absorbed. It is then enters the intestinal mucosal cells by an energy-dependent transport mechanism. From the mucosal cells, iron enters the plasma. This process is carefully regulated by or to prevent the iron overload. Once iron enters the plasma, it is again oxidized to the ferric form. It is then taken up by the beta globulin called siderophilin or transferrin. Transferrin is the specific transport protein of iron. One molecule of transferrin binds two atoms of iron, and this binding prevents iron from forming toxic free radicals in the circulation. Now, let's discuss the storage of iron. Absorbed iron is stored in the body as ferritin in the reticuloendothelial system or the cells of the liver, bone marrow, and spleen. The conjugated form of iron with the protein molecule is termed as apoferritin. When iron is added to apoferritin, it becomes ferritin. Iron or the plasma iron is a good index of body's iron stores. Low plasma iron typically indicates depleted iron stores, while high plasma iron may indicate iron overload. Iron in ferritin is released with the help of a transport protein called ferroportin, which exports iron from the cells into the circulation. Excess iron is also stored in another form in the liver called hemosiderin. Hemosiderin is a breakdown product of ferritin and accumulates when iron stores are very high. Now let's discuss the factors that increase iron absorption. Very first one is the increased erythropoiesis or red cell production, such as at high altitudes or after blood loss, increases the demand for iron and stimulates absorption. Next is a decrease iron stores, as occur in iron deficiency anemia and after multiple pregnancies, signal the body to absorb more iron. Next is the vitamin C. Taken with the iron enhances absorption by reducing iron to the ferrous form. Next is the inorganic iron, such as in iron supplements. It is absorbed very quickly. The next one is the hemochromatosis, a pathological condition associated with increased absorption of iron from the intestine, leading to iron overload. Now let's discuss the factors that decrease iron absorption. Very first one is the malabsorption, as in steatorrhea and celiac disease, where the absorptive surface of the intestine is compromised. Next is the diarrhea, where there is a less time for iron to stay in the intestine. Next is the excess of phosphate and oxalates, which form insoluble complexes with iron, preventing its absorption. Next is the high body stores of iron, which downregulate absorption. And the rest of the factors that decreases the absorption are the antacid therapy and achlorohydria, food intake along with iron, chronic infections, subtotal gastrectomy, and surgical removal of the upper small intestine, which removes the primary site of iron absorption. Now let us discuss how iron is lost from the body. In males, daily iron loss is about 0.5 to 1 milligram per day, primarily through shedding of the skin and intestinal cells. Females lose additional iron through menstrual blood, which is approximately 35 to 70 milliliter of blood per day, equivalent to about 15 to 30 milligram of iron per month. Sweat is another mode, or sweating is another mode that contains some iron. Women lose iron during and after pregnancy, with approximately 1 gram of iron lost during one delivery. The human body can lose a maximum of 4 milligram of iron per day without bleeding. Now, let's discuss the deficiency of iron. Iron deficiency leads to hypochromic microcytic anemia, where red blood cells or the red cells or the RBCs are smaller than normal and have reduced hemoglobin content. And the causes may include the nutritional deficiency of iron, lack of absorption due to subtotal gastrectomy and ache or hypochlorohydria, hookworm infections, repeated pregnancies, chronic blood loss, or such as in case of hemorrhoids, peptic ulcers, and menorrhagia, that is the excessive menstrual bleeding, nephrosis, the lead poisoning are the causes of the iron deficiency or iron deficiency anemia. What about the recommended daily allowance of iron? The recommended daily allowance for iron varies as region and physiological status. For an adult Indian, the requirement is 20 milligram of iron per day. This is higher because the typical Indian diet or South Asian diet contains inhibitory substances such as phytates that reduce absorption, while in Western countries, The requirement is lower at 15 milligram per day because the diet contains fewer inhibitory substances, while the children between 13 to 15 years need 20 to 30 milligrams per day. To summarize this, let's chalk out its key points. 10% of the ingested iron is absorbed. Absorption occurs at a mid-jejunum. Iron is converted to ferrous form for absorption. It enters the intestinal mucosal cells. From mucosal cells, iron enters to the plasma. In plasma, it is oxidized to ferric form. It is taken up by the transferrin or siderophilin. One transferrin molecule binds to two iron atoms. Iron is stored as ferritin in liver, bone marrow, and spleen. The protein part of ferritin is apoferritin, and iron is released from ferritin via ferroportin, while the excess iron is stored as hemosiderin in the liver. Thank you very much for your attention. Please like, subscribe, and share this video for more videos. Thank you very much.